11th, calls meeting to order at 5:01 and 5:02. Roll call. This is what she, Corey Hughes, I'm here. David Wise.
Here.
You can do my own copy. Tricia Hall.
Here.
Amy Graney.
Here.
Rob Innick at this point. Don't know if he's coming or not.
Well, I made it for one, he probably won't make it for a while.
Call me surprised.
He did try to call me last night, but I was dealing with a kid that had surgery and it was a little bit more important, so. I forgot to call him back till
So
real
you
late.
guys will need both of those, because last month I didn't have January's meetings typed, so you get to look at January and February's.
Is that what you got?
Yeah, January and February. No, those both belong to you.
Yeah.
These both belong to her.
So you got January meeting minutes to read and approve, and also February's.
Yes.
Minutes to go over all that.
She does her own.
Not allowed to do.
I'll make a motion to approve January and February meeting. That minutes for the meeting.
I got a motion for January and February's meeting minutes approval.
Second.
Second by David, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Which one we signed since those aren't stapled? I'll sign those. Thank you. Thank you.
Whoops.
Okay, thank you. Just got a few things. I know my paper looks bad, but it's once my chicken scratches here. Got a little bit of update on the ambulance. It finally came in as a total of $315,376. I think that's finalized with what we had for some changes that we wanted to make. I have talked to Star Financial Bank right now, and he believes that the interest rate will go down. Right now, the interest rate's 5.97%. And he doesn't see anything, issues with any of our terms or where we want to start. I told him we wanted to do July and December payments starting next year, and he said no problems with that. So we're still well under the approval, the $480,000 that we put in for. Along with that, the new power load and power cot is $47,332.90. That's, I decided to go new because it was $6,000 for all brand new over refurbished, I guess, sorry, I'm blocking it. And this is the latest, greatest of all, it's gonna be brand new and nobody's used it. So I felt for $6,000, that we're not in the boat we're in now with the other cot that they came through after it was 4 or 5 years old when we bought it. They're telling me now they're only a 10-year life cycle, which is great, you know, they tell us that after the fact. So that's where we're at with that for now. And this is the new cod, if anybody wanted to, look at that. The latest, greatest, I have it all itemized out if you wanna do it, if you wanna know what it is by each item, so, but the grand total is 47,332.90. Those are considered bariatric. Those will lift up to a 750-pound person with the power load, with the power part of it. The one that we have in the ambulance now, I think is 475, I believe. So,
That's great.
yeah. Made a lot of people happy when we got all that, so.
Saving you back.
So that's where we're at with those two, just trying to keep you up to date on that. Poor relief wise, so far this year, we've had 7, for a requested total of $6,384.08, and I've paid out $3,433.37 in the 7 that we've done. Alright, so I don't know what else to say about that. Yeah, got one more coming, he's supposed to be here today or tomorrow to fill it all out. Let's get down here to this, so from February 1st through today, we've had 105 total fire and ambulance runs. 96 of those are ambulance calls, 9 fire calls.
Those are the ones that 230 was attached to.
Okay, gotcha. So we had 14 calls that were 230 is attached to, which means Michael probably either called it in or come up on something and called it in on the radio or whatever. So that adds to our run totals. Every time an officer of any kind calls in on the radio, it adds that up. So we're up to 180 something, I believe, total.
I did not look at the total. I just looked for
It
one
was
month.
it was 175, I think, last week. So we've had, we may be pushing 200 by now for the year. So it's rapidly increasing. And I would say on a weekly basis, we probably get 10 to 20 mutual aid calls with the city per week. I know they're trying to get their 4th medic unit in service, but there's still going to be, I think there's still going to be days that we're still going to get called. Yesterday or the day before we got called, they had all 3 of them were dispatched back to back within the same minute. They dispatched all 3 of their medic units out at the same time. So, yeah, it's increasing big time.
We hear sirens all the time, so.
You ruined my kids and I's party.
I did, I'm sorry. I tried to get them. I figured they were gonna get disregarded. They were going last night, so, yeah,
That's where you get paid the big bucks.
right. We still get paid regardless, so. Also have a request in, and I can pass this out. This is a quote for 5 new full sets of gear. I didn't write the total down, 22,000 something. For gear this year, that's full set, head to toe, helmet, Nomex gear, gloves, extrication gloves, fire gloves, boots. That's from the same company we got it from last year. Jeremy Chode, which is the fire captain, was supposed to get a couple more quotes, but these places just won't send you back the quote. I just don't understand. $22,000 and one thing, they just can't get, nobody wants to get back with you. I just don't get it. Especially if they're making any kind of commission off that, I don't understand it, but.
McQueen is a reputable company. I mean, a lot of the locals around here, that's who they go through.
And they have bought out, I think, 2 or 3 other companies. We used to buy a bunch of stuff from NES. They have bought them out. They also bought uniform place in Indianapolis. right across the street
First
from
something.
Methodist,
At the first something.
First Response, maybe. They bought them out, they're making they do all the embroidery and police uniforms and, it's huge. You walk in there and it's just rows upon rows of Class A uniforms and the old Class A uniforms we used to wear in the police department, and just everything in between. It's just unreal. But that was brought, they wanted to see about getting that. I told them I would bring it up. That includes shipping this time. It was the last time they threw that in on us at the last minute and we didn't know. 22,290.
What's your thoughts, Dave?
Motion.
I guess I'll make the motion.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
That is fine.
Twist your arm over there.
Thanks, guys, thank you. The only other thing that I have that I wanted to cover and need to get some input on, I was approached by Dennis Everett, Tony Crum, about a possible lease of the old Leach building, the bus barn. They want to see if it's possible to lease it to work on ambulances. I don't know what we need to do, they don't know, they don't have any kind of ideas on pricing.
Have you been in there? Have you been there, in that building? I mean, the old Dutch, years ago.
Yep, it still looks the same,
Did it?
yeah. Steve did some updates, plumbing and such along that lines, a lot of that stuff was new. That's what I told him, that was my big worry about, because it hasn't had water on in 4 years, probably, 3 or 4 years. So I just told him I'd bring it up to see what your thoughts are. I mean, it's just sitting there empty, the only thing it's in it now is a bunch of junk and the enclosed trailer that's full of fireworks stuff.
So, this is just me brainstorming, cause I know it just sits there. What if you did some kind of deal with them where they were responsible for whatever the utility bills were for the month, and then, maintaining our ambulance?
Well, he brought that to me yesterday and said that we would be first priority, they would cover, like if we decided part of it would be, he would cover all the labor if we covered all the parts. I just don't know that we would have enough, I don't want to say that out loud. I don't know that we'd have enough repairs to justify what that building probably should bring in. It will be considered a central Indiana location for Braun ambulances for a repair service center, because they don't have one close. They either have to go north of, I think he said north of Mishawaka, or Ohio, or Illinois, or Tennessee to have anything worked on. So at any given time, there may be who knows how many fire trucks and ambulances sitting over there. They did make the comment that they wanted to make sure that we still could utilize the training facility part of it. I mean, I feel on our side of that in respect, we need to give them some notice. I don't want to show up there at 10 till 5 and say, hey, we're gonna use the facility tonight, move all your stuff out of the way. So, I just don't know how we input the money, how we would set a price. I haven't called the attorney yet to see if he's got any input to help us on it, because I gotta get him to look over the contract for the ambulance. That was one of the stipulations from the DLGF that said he needs to look over our purchase agreement and make sure it follows the IC codes for the purchase. So I have to get that once Tony finalizes and gets it back to me, so we can get that to the attorney and find out all our I's are dotted and T's are crossed for that. But I told him I wanted to pass that out to you guys and see what your thoughts are. He's willing to help do labor work to get everything inside done.
I feel it goes like you're saying, Tony's a great guy,
Yes.
and he's a Cub fan, but other than that, he's a great guy. I got no problem with
I
it.
don't either.
I think it'd be nice to have somebody in there. We did put the lockbox on and we did get the utility bill, and that was definitely being used.
Yes, so, I don't know, I don't remember if I brought that up last meeting or not. We had noticed that the heat was on in the training barn. So Mike and I actually both went over there and shut it off. I think that was a Friday night. Monday, he called me and said, hey, the heat's back on again. Like, are you kidding me? After our second bill of almost $400 for electric out there at that facility that nobody uses, I went in on a Monday, shut the breaker off to that heater, because it's an electric hanging heater. I think Wednesday he called and said, the heater's back on.
Somebody going out there.
Somebody had went in there and turned the 50 amp breaker back on.
Who would have the keys to
It was never locked.
We can't,
It's locked now. I went to True Value, got a new doorknob and deadbolt. A couple guys went out, Micah and Clayton went out and put it on for me, so it's been locked ever since.
It's some homeless or something?
I think his water was there. I told him that.
Yeah. Appreciated that.
Yes.
But, you
And
know,
Lisa
I
went
never
out
go on,
with
so.
them to go check it too, so
Yeah.
that was,
That was one of the worst nights of the winter.
Yes.
Yes.
We went out there,
Yeah, it was one of those days, it was below zero.
yeah.
and the birds were not dead.
So, yeah.
Well, you know, the less desirables of your community will use it if they can get by with it.
Sure.
I haven't gotten this month's bill yet. I got it for this address, but not that one, so hopefully it's gone back down to like almost nothing. Cause it was usually, whatever the minimum is, like $34 or something like that, so, yeah. So hopefully that will, and Dennis wanted to like make that a work in progress, to try and work on stuff as they're working on. The biggest thing would be to get the doors secure, to make sure the overhead doors are working, get new lights in. 3 or 4 or 5 sets of LED lights out there. It will probably be 10 times brighter than anything that's even in the building now. So he offered labor part of it. I just want to throw that out there. I need to find somebody that's versed on commercial structures for lease to.
Yeah.
I don't want to price this out of the market, because I think it'd be great to have somebody in it,
Right.
because it's just sitting there going to waste.
I go by there every once in a while, we go by there, and I'm just curious, you know.
Yeah.
Even if you got 500 a month, that's 6,000 a year, and no bills. I mean, but I would suggest that you do a contract with them and make it a year contract.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's upkeep and stuff that needs to be done to get them in there, then you don't wanna spend all that money out, and they be there 2 months.
Right.
Does the city of Elwood have anything like this? Rent anything, or lease anything out?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of, but, you know, the county does have some county property, like Cog's in part of the bank, and they pay so much a month.
Veterans is over there now too. I don't, of course, that's part of the county.
Well, good, they get the veterans out of that little hole they were in. I can reach out to a realtor friend of mine that knows commercial and see what it is.
I guess I would have to reach out to the DLGF to find out, if we do this, where does this money go? Does it just go
It
to
goes
general
into your
fund?
general fund. It
How
has
do
to-
we,
It has to go in your general fund.
just like the
And then when
draw?
our reports, then it comes in as a,
As a lease.
yeah, but I'm trying to think of where it falls, because when we did our audit, we didn't have any at this time, not really investments, but.
Right. we could go into the general fund and then at the end of the year, you could, transfer so much over into your rainy day fund, and then from your rainy day fund, you can,
We could been,
your rainy day fund, you can do anything but payroll,
Right.
correct?
I think so.
Amy and I are both going May 7th, I believe. They're having their yearly trustee hands on deck, I guess, training. It's 100, I think, a person. Is it 150? It's $100 and $150 a person. They provide lunch, and it's an all-day thing. It's like 8 to 3, 8 to 4.
You'll wanna fall your eyes off on something.
Yeah, usually you're good by lunch, because after lunch, usually they hit the tax stuff and.
Our first year there together was very informative and
Those are, got pages upon pages of notes that. So,
but we were new, I mean, relatively new to doing the trustee business.
So did you find out if you have to do the 40 hours a year, or since you were elected before that, you don't?
nobody's, I've gotten no information from me. Every time I ask them a question along something like that, they don't get back with me. Right along the same way with State Board of Accounts, I can't ever get anybody to email me back. Judy,
Maybe.
is that what her name is from DLGF? She's been
Judy
really good.
Robinson,
We did a one-on-one hour training online with her. Was that Veterans Day? When did we do that? You were off of school, Veterans Day. We came here and did a Zoom meeting or whatever, and I've got
President's Day.
6 or President's Day. Yeah.
She's very good, she's very helpful.
Mhm.
And she told me, so well, I'll give you this list of people, but I would prefer that you call me first. It's like, when you're my person, I don't wanna call you, but I don't want 3 different opinions when you're the one
I
to give me
hated
what I
it
need.
when we lost her as our rep, because then we had Ryan, and he never returned calls, emails.
Yeah.
You get her back and she's right on the ball.
Within about 48 hours, she's responded to me in some way, whether she's called me or emailed me. So, and I appreciate that, because I don't, still trying to navigate which road we're supposed to go down to not find the dead end, so.
Listen to her, you'll be fine. But I think they're gonna rotate them out every few years, so
Do
you
you
don't.
think so?
I think so, just as
In
well
different
as.
areas. She's actually doesn't live in her office isn't in our area. I think
It's up and
what she
running.
told us, well, now she has an office.
Oh, yeah, wrong.
She has an office. But when she called us, she was at home. So, there was something about it, her office is not in her area, but she still covers the other areas, so it was kind of strange that they would do that, but it's a state league. But, that's really all I had. Anybody have anything for me? Do we want to, so Dave's having surgery next week? Or do we want to vote now to bypass April?
It's fine,
Yeah,
I think,
April.
I don't think we're gonna have anything, that would be fine with me.
I can't think of anything with something drastic happens, and then if we have to call an emergency meeting, we just have to go do it and do what we gotta do to publicize it and get it done, but I can't imagine anything
So we're gonna
happening.
be the nurse, yeah.
what she said.
You better behave then, right? You better be a good patient.
Perfect
Listen to that.
Oh, man.
Don't fart under the
Don't
water
forget your
before.
still under 40.
I said
Be
duck.
nice.
You haven't changed your bed, have you?
Never will.
Too late now.
All right, well, if we're done, I need a
Okay, I'll
motion
make
to
a
adjourn.
motion, we adjourn for the evening.
Well, I got a motion, do I have a second?
I second that.
All in favor?